Do this. Okay. For me, watching why Yellowstone is much worse than you think. I'll rewind a little bit, but I'm gonna put it on quicker speed. Like there.
You need to man up. I am the past. Catching up with you. No. You're a thief. You hire another girl.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with grimbular motion.
Be a man! Be a man!
Never met a man who's killed one. I ain't never murdered one.
When this land belonged to my people 150 years ago, children were stolen, men were killed, families herded away like cattle. And nothing's changed.
Just chatting.
Except you're the Indian now.
Cool.
Howdy, y'all. This is Yellowstone, the show that makes everyone say, oh yeah, my parents love that show, but I've never seen it. Yellowstone is, or more accurately was, a TV show on the Paramount Network from 2018 to 2024, ranking as the most watched non-NFL broadcast for each of its final 2 seasons. That's right, it was even more popular than NCIS, Young Sheldon, and Blue Bloods. Thank God Blue Bloods has mercifully ended. What was that? They made a spin-off called Boston Blue? I don't know. Nothing about Boston Cops is ever gonna top this piece of cinema. I promise I'll watch Boston Blue if they throw Donnie Wahlberg down that same slide. Now, for those of you who don't know, Yellowstone is the story of the Dutton Ranch, described by the show as the largest contiguous ranch, roughly 800,000 acres,
Jesus.
or the size of Rhode Island.
How can you stand there on a ranch the size of Rhode Island and accuse me of theft?
Oh, I'm glad they're
Series that
aware.
Duttons fight off constant and vicious attacks from people who want to pry their land away from them. You know, by paying them hundreds of millions of dollars. God, I hate when that happens.
I do have an offer from Market Equities at $10,000 per acre.
There's 50,000 acres between those pastures.
It's $500 million.
The audacity!
All we're gonna do is make him one of the richest men in Montana. Oh, the tragedy.
Yellowstone is a gritty crime drama in the vein of Sons of Anarchy or The Shield, set in a world where violence is the first and only solution to problems. The Duttons turn to murder really frequently, to stop evildoers and protect their property, of course, but also to keep former employees quiet about their illegal activities, to prevent journalists from uncovering the truth, and, you know, just to intimidate other land developers. And sometimes it gets fucking ridiculous. You know what stops a bad guy?
Hey, when that happens.
It's not a good guy with a gun, it's a good guy with a lasso. In fact, they murder people so much on Yellowstone that they have a whole euphemism for it.
You want off this ranch, you got it. When you get back, I'll drive your ass to the train station myself.
You take that trash to the fucking train station.
Keep going, this ain't no goddamn train station.
Sure it is. A long black train.
No. One way to think of Yellowstone is that it's like The Sopranos if Tony was a horse girl. Like The Sopranos and many prestige TV shows of the past 20-odd years, Yellowstone wants you to view its characters as morally gray. You know, they're not the good guys, just like Walter White wasn't the good guy. But it's clear that the show wants us to see them as under siege, the last remnants of a dying breed, forced into extinction by the modernization of the world around them.
We just want to live our lives the way we've been living them for the last 100 years, and you keep coming here and trying to take that away.
He's been alive for the last 100 years. Looks pretty good.
That is the Dutton Ranch. Want to develop the land and raise property values until the Duttons will be forced to sell.
The property values in this valley will double that very day. And that doubles property tax on John Dutton's ranch to approximately $11 million a year.
This is because, despite the Duttons owning the most lucrative real estate portfolio outside of BlackRock, they're actually not rich at all.
I'm not a rich man, Dan, contrary to popular belief.
Sure, they own an estate the size of Rhode Island, valued at about $8.3 billion. Sure, John Dutton has a private chef. Sure, he's one of the lead law enforcement officers in Montana. Sure, he's dating the governor and has the entire Montana Department of Justice in his back pocket. Sure, he literally becomes the governor in season 5, but don't get bogged down in the details, okay? Don't you know that that money isn't like just in his bank account? He's not liquid, guys. They're land rich, cash poor.
Ranching is the only business where the goal is to break even. Survive another season. Last long enough for your children to continue the cycle, and maybe, just maybe, the land is still theirs when a tree sprouts from you.
See, they're just poor widow ranchers who are just trying to make a living in this crazy world. They're working class.
They're working class. Hey, they're just tumble ranchers.
Sure, $1 billion might sound like a lot of money, but actually, they're living paycheck to paycheck as the 166th richest family in America. And no matter who the villains are on Yellowstone, they're all just trying to get that Dutton land. The second season shifts the villains from the tribe to rival white ranchers also trying to protect the land, and then for the final 3 seasons of the show, the main villain is a private equity firm. So where does this all end up? Well, at the end of the series, the Duttons end up selling the ranch back to the tribe for $125 an acre, with the caveat that they keep some of the land to live on for the rest of their lives.
Even though you didn't sell it, that's what it sold for when they took it. And that's the price I offer you. under two conditions. The East Camp I keep for my family, and you can never develop the Yellowstone, and you can never sell.
It's kind of a nod to Land Back, but it does make all the murdering kind of pointless since they're able to sell and carry on living the exact same life. So, why did they have to kill all those people? It's hard to overstate just how big the show Yellowstone was. By the time this video comes out in March 2026, there will have been 4 spin-offs, 2 prequel series called 1883 and 1923, a show called The Madison, and a cop show.
And that'd be April 6th.
It wasn't clear that this show loves the boot as long as it's not on them.
Retribution is a form of justice. But don't confuse vengeance with closure, Casey. Only one brings peace.
At least vengeance is something I believe in.
I also saw a logline for the show saying that they're fighting a war on violence. I don't know if that's AI generated or just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Sounds like trying to fight childhood obesity with McDonald's. And look, if you still haven't gotten your Yellowstone fix, don't worry. There are another 2 spin-offs planned. Another prequel, this time set in 1944, and a sequel series following the daughter Beth and her lover Rip Wheeler. And that's still, somehow, only the tip of the iceberg. Creator Taylor Sheridan has launched a whole slew of unrelated shows on Paramount, including Landman, Tulsa King, and Lioness. Shit, he's even writing the upcoming Call of Duty movie. Yeehaw, cowboy! All in all, Sheridan told The Atlantic in 2022 that Paramount had invested over $1 billion into his TV projects, and he's already lined up another $1 billion in a deal with NBC Universal that'll start kicking in this year, in 2026, meaning that Taylor Sheridan is almost worth a quarter of the Dutton Ranch. Because people are so fucking rich. Now, this investment and popularity would make Sheridan and Yellowstone worth investigating on their own. But I also find the discourse surrounding his media empire almost as interesting. Some have dubbed Yellowstone the most red state show on television, but Taylor Sheridan says he doesn't agree, and Time magazine says it's complicated. The Atlantic described it as a show without an explicit ideology that maps onto a traditional red-blue spectrum. It's a mishmash of generally anti-capitalist, anti-modernist populism, pro-rancher libertarianism, conservative environmentalism, and a sympathetic pro-Native American revolt of the oppressed. Sheridan has received glowing profiles for how respectful he is of Native people, with some going so far as to call his work critical race theory because of how he highlights Native issues. He's even gotten credit for opposing Paramount's new leadership when they asked him to produce content for America's 250th birthday. Although I don't know if you really get credit for a principled stand if you're also making $1 billion in the process. But I think you'd have to be a special kind of stupid to miss how Yellowstone and Sheridan's other TV work is clearly aimed at a conservative working class audience. The Duttons are obsessed with tradition.
That's how we used to do it.
Yeah, well, never should have stopped.
They hate change.
Trying to do it different.
Different never works.
They love Texas.
God damn, you bring the sharks when you come in your grass. What are you talking about? That's just a God-fearing family from North Texas.
And hate California.
The money in California, of which there is an endless supply.
They preach absolute loyalty to a patriarch.
I know who loves me. I know who's loyal.
While spewing pure misogyny.
You hire another girl, she needs to be mean or ugly. One of the two.
They ask their workers to kill for their property while branding them.
That's a hell of a price to pay for a job that only pays $400 a week.
They hate clean energy.
They use clean energy to power the oil wells.
They use alternative energy.
$400 a week.
And frequently appropriate Native culture.
When this land belonged to my people 150 years ago, children were stolen, men were killed, families herded away like cattle. And nothing's changed. Except you're the Indian now.
I mean, shit, they're constantly clashing with BLM. And I know they're talking about the Bureau of Land Management, but it still feels intentional to me. And those messages are landing with a very specific audience. According to reporting from The Guardian, Yellowstone had the least diverse viewership in American TV at the time, with only 23% of its audience being non-white. What makes Yellowstone so fascinating to me is that despite all of this, calling Yellowstone a red state show is still treated as a debate because of the way it wraps up its decisively conservative politics as an appeal to ordinary people who feel that they're being disregarded by the elite ruling class. I mean, this is a show that tells white people of rural America to defend the land rights of the wealthy instead of, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, uniting working class people of all races and genders against the ruling billionaires and their enablers. Again, it's just a brainstorm. And it strikes me that this is the political moment we live in, where news, media, and really every institution has become nakedly just for the billionaire class, while still claiming to serve the public. And I think Yellowstone can help us understand how this conservative line of thinking works. Now, you may be saying, why do we need to understand it? Isn't living it bad enough? And you know what? Fair enough. But I still think there's a lot we can learn. Just look at the runtime of this video. First of all, I think Yellowstone can help us understand the ways in which conservative ideas are laundered in a way that makes them seem apolitical, while still having a very clear ideological mission, which definitely seems to be the vibe of all of Hollywood right now. In researching this video, I found this line in an LA Times article stating, Hollywood studios say they're trying to avoid political bias. And that hyperlink was to a New York Times article titled, Hollywood's Message to Red States. Our movies are for you. I don't know what they think the red in red state means if it's not political, but Okay, Disney has pivoted from supporting the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020 and some mild LGBTQ support to cutting transgender characters altogether, in a move CEO Bob Iger has pitched as getting out of the culture wars. At the same time, Disney has caved on bullshit legal challenges from the Trump administration and donated millions for his presidential library, which I assume will only stock copies of Art of the Deal, Mein Kampf, and Where the Fascist Things Are. You know, for the kiddos. But don't worry, that has nothing to do with politics or the culture wars, you absolute moron. The second reason to study Yellowstone is that Paramount has built an image around the Taylor Sheridan universe of TV, creatively called the Taylorverse, something that promises to only escalate in coming years now that Larry Ellison, a Trump ally, CIA shill, and rabid Zionist, has acquired the network with the explicit goal of pushing America-centric news coverage they claim is for middle America. This is the guy who hired Barry Weiss to head up CBS News, where she has repeatedly killed stories for the Trump administration, claimed that Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer and frequent island roommate Alan Dershowitz is her target audience, and is holding a debate over whether feminism was a good idea. And you know, seeing where Barry Weiss is, I think it's a fair question, you know? Was it a mistake? Paramount joins TikTok and Oracle in Larry Ellison's portfolio, and he looks like he's about to acquire Warner Brothers as well, meaning that he'll be able to execute this America-centric vision on TikTok, CBS, CNN, and HBO.
Oh my god. Bro. Now, I'm not an advocate for AI and the impact data centers have on anything within like a 10-mile radius. Honestly, there's actually a really cool video by Ben Jordan. I might pull it up, actually. Wait a minute, that'd be really cool to get into. There's a really cool video. I'll just show it off. By this musician named Ben Jordan about the effect.
In any way. Now,
Here, I'll show the effect that like the low frequency hums given off by these data centers have on you. Like they are.
In any way. Now, some of my viewers may remember this sonic weapon that I created that prevents people from speaking coherently.
I think it was June.
For many of you watching or listening to me, a whole lot of energy required to host, stream, and play back this video came from right here, the Permian Basin spanning from northwest Texas to eastern New Mexico. This area is where over 40% of the oil produced in the entire United States comes from, and it accounts for over 6 million barrels of crude oil per day. And this is also the extraction point for 15% of America's natural gas. And as you would obviously expect, it's an environmental nightmare. The natural gas output is so high that it gets bottlenecked by the pipelines. Because of this, many of the operators resort to flaring, or just burning the fuel at the fracking site. Many operators also just vent the methane directly into the open air. The good news is that this area is pretty empty by design. It has a very low population density. And when you do find some residential areas near the oil fields, they're typically temporary or modular housing units limited to housing oil workers. I am here because it's quite possibly the most infrasonically active place on the continent that isn't associated with the data center. We already know that major pipelines and oil rigs can cause infrasound, but the massive amounts of high-pressure water injection required for fracking has literally turned this geologically sedentary region far from any major fault lines into an active...
So he's not talking about data centers like in this section, but this is the shortest clip, but I wanted to...
8 out of 10 of the strongest earthquakes in the recorded history of the entire state of Texas have happened in the last 6 years in the natural gas regions of this state. So I personally can't think of a better place to get a sample of some man-made infrasound.
While I was recording this, a nearby well bore turned on. And then just started playing this creepy song as the drill string went in and out of the well. At least that's what I'm assuming I'm hearing. Unsurprisingly, there's a whole bunch of near infrasonic and infrasonic activity. But the amplitude is comparable to the rest of the stuff in the audio spectrum.
I personally expected the Permian Basin to be the winner here, like the loudest infrasound that I had ever recorded, the peak levels that all infrasound polluters would aspire to reach someday. But while the infrasound levels were nowhere close to ideal, they still weren't as bad as they were near the data centers in Memphis or Granbury. The infrasound levels at these two data centers were so much higher than the ambient values that it doesn't even make practical sense to use a linear scale like 25,000% higher. It makes much more sense to compare these samples using a logarithmic regression. And when you do that, a really interesting thing happens. The line representing the YouTube viewer retention for this video sinks to 0. I have a better idea. I needed to figure out a way to...
Okay, he's gonna...
Here, you just feel it. Fed up a whole bunch?
That involves lawsuits, corruption, neglect, debilitating health issues, but I went there for one thing, and one thing only, infrasound samples. And boy, that Bitcoin mine did not disappoint.
I visited a residence about maybe 3/4 of a mile away from the Bitcoin mine on 2 different occasions, and this is the first. And we could see a whole bunch of weird, audible drones and sustained noises, like a little choir of crypto bullshit. Now, of course, let's go down to those lower frequencies and ugh, that's brutal. It's almost as if the worst of it's like right here at 30 hertz, which is too low to really hear. You just feel it. Fed up a whole bunch. It sounds like you're next to a plane that's about to take off, but all of these frequencies are actually below your range of hearing.
I didn't look at the data until a few weeks after taking the samples and leaving the region.
I need to turn
And
my...
the infrasound in this area was so unordinary and extreme that I decided to go back and do everything again and rule out something like a low-level earthquake or an equipment malfunction.
This is from the exact same property about 2 weeks later, and I got a nice long ambient sample here. Keep in mind that this property is literally a nice secluded farm, and this noise absolutely destroys the atmosphere. I don't really know what's causing these peaks down here, but they're temporary, so I'm not
no,
including them in my data,
I've
but it's
heard
pretty
that
obvious that this sound here is absolutely coming from the data center.
And I didn't feel as shy this time, so I met with someone who lives
like you get sick, you get
and I would describe
genuinely like nauseous.
Someone who is extremely likable and an absolute pleasure to be around, but also someone who you do not want to piss off, who is actively extremely pissed off about the data center near her land.
Like, what physical symptoms have you felt just from your property being directly across the street from the data center?
Motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, GI side effects. My ears ring and buzz. I've got permanent conduction hearing loss now. Nervous, anxious, worried.
By the way, prior to this interview, Cheryl thought that I was just doing a story on the noise pollution, as I was keeping my infrasound research close to my sleeve. Yet every single one of these symptoms is commonly associated with excessive infrasound exposure.
Several of us will reach out to one another. So it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I'm outside, I'm trying to work. I am just horrifically nauseated to the point where I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I go in the house, a neighbor messages down the road, same thing, same time. They're trying to do outside work, they can't do it. It's just horrific.
Yeah. Do you know of anybody who's like moved, who's just left, who's just been like, I can't handle this anymore?
Yes.
Just literally?
One family, their daughter was 6 years old. She started having seizures in the summer of 24. They basically walked away from their home here, took out a second mortgage, moved to Somerville County, south of us, to get their daughter away from this.
If you know, has their symptoms kind of gotten better since she's left?
Right.
They went away?
Yep.
Wow.
When we met with the executives at Constellation Energy, the mayor in Glen Rose, and then another commissioner in Somerville County, one commissioner, the noise from the crypto mine actually made him ill when he was at the power plant meeting with the executives.
Like,
he
that's
can't be in this area
crazy.
for more than an hour, and he starts getting sick.
I asked Cheryl if she would be okay with me giving her a device
That's
that
horrific
could record
that
infrasound from her
this is
property
something
24
that is
hours a day over a
allowed
long period
by
that
the
would be
government.
discreetly
That is-
streaming it to a server that I could log remotely. This would at least allow me to be able to better correlate
I'm
the
glad
timeline
Ben
of
Jordan
infrasound
exists.
levels with the timeline of the data center being powered down for maintenance. That way, further legal and legislative action can be based on clear evidence and maybe even provide an operational.
The only YouTuber I've actually ever turned notifications on for on my own free will. Besides maybe Good Mythical Morning when I was a kid. Oh my god. Wait, how does this sound right now? How do this sound? Hello? Why did not work in, dude? This is Forestating. This is Forestating. Oh! Forestating. Oh! Okay. What if I turn this down? Oh! Okay. What if I turn this down? Oh! Oh my god, it's gonna be so long. I actually do need it to be able to get to these levels. Ah. Okay, especially because I can sit back here and just talk. I actually do need it to be able to get to these levels. Ah. Okay, especially because I can sit back here and just awesome, tough. Okay. Oh my god.
Legal template for other regions with infrasound.
Legal template. Legal template. What?
For many of you watching or listening to me, a whole lot of energy.
How's it sound with Benny talking? I actually do need it to be able to get to these levels. Ah. Okay, especially because I can sit back here and just awesome, tough. Okay. Oh my god.
Legal template for other regions with infrasound.
Legal template. Okay, I do like that. I do like that. Okay. Yo, sorry everyone who's watching. This has been the most boring shit ever.
Stream and play back.
Crypto mine actually.
Okay, so yeah, basically AI data centers and crypto mines, any big giant factory that's just running GPU schmuck. Yeah. Messes with your brain. It's called Steam. Dude, I've been trying to log into my Steam for like actually 3 minutes, I swear. Yeah. What? What? Why is that? Oh my god. Dude, I swear to bomb. You're joking. Of course it. What am I looking for? Why am I stupid? Why am I stupid? Where's face it? And task. Okay, honestly, I'd love to find one other Ben Jordan. I would, if anyone's watching, I would like to educate anyone. This DIY Tech for Anarchists, definitely do that. I'd love to watch this, flock safety video on stream sometime.
End of the season, they could sell it at a discount in
Actually, no, I want to try this. I want to try this sometime. I'm such a dumbass. Okay, huh?
C'est payé, balayé, oublié, ça commence avec toi.
It's wipe day. Well, it's the day after wipe day. And you're the first one on your team to log back in. Looks like your base survived the night, but it looks a little different. There's a bear rug up on the ceiling, and there's some rugs on the walls that you didn't put there. You figure it must have been one of your teammates, and you just get on with it. Unfortunately for you, however, I'm in your walls. So here's the plan. About a year ago, I made this video, Rust Parasites. It involved living under your base and breaking the floor to steal all of your stuff. He's alive! What the? In the intro, I had this shot where we had pretended we had hidden cameras in their bases.
No way they put cameras in there? You're lying, dude.
You're right, Summit. I was lying.
Got him!
I always thought the idea deserved its own video, and here's how we're gonna do it. Step 1. We'll start by building our base in a secluded and hidden spot so we can farm sulfur in peace. It's gonna take a lot of sulfur to get this done right. Step 2, wait for our neighbors to go offline. Then we'll blow our way into the core of their base through their honeycomb. We don't want them to know that they've been raided, so we have to be careful not to break anything or loot anything that we can't replace perfectly. Look at all the goodies we can't take! And step 3, install a camera hidden under a bear rug and leave a little hole in the wall that we're going to
What if
cover
you take,
with a
like-
rug so that we can loot through it without them knowing that there's a hole there. We'll put everything back where we found it, put some sleeping bags in the walls so we can spawn in, seal up the inside of the base, seal up the outside of the base, and just like that, you're ready to gaslight the absolute shit out of some Rust players. Okay, I'm recording. I'm in. Gamers, I'm in.
Very nice.
I'm by Lighthouse.
I'm at Outpost.
I'm by Lighthouse. Hi. Oh, I know Josh when I see Josh. I know Josh Creed when I see Josh Creed. I know that ugly mug anywhere. I know that ugly mug anywhere. Come here, Josh. Come here. Alright, come on.
Ooh. He's loaded!
Where'd you get that from?
It was just here.
Oh my god, tools! Scripted! This video is scripted!
Save us 4 seconds old. Scripted!
Josh and I had gotten lucky and spawned right next to each other. Kaylee was on the server too, and we needed to go get her added to the team. It would just be us 3 for now. Omid and Xville were busy being cringe, and we're late for wipe. For now, Josh and I head over to meet up with Kaylee, where she had gotten a little starter base set up in the snow.
Dude, I can't decide what... Do I have Rust installed? Rust. If I don't, I'm gonna be actually mad. Oh my gosh. Guess we're playing CS. Let's make a beat while we're here. So on this one, let's take off. Okay, let's. Yeah, let's have fun with the. Okay, I gotta. Okay. Okay, so we're getting rid of that. We're gonna do 3. 4, and then... And then I wanted to throw in... I know you guys are looking at fucking nothing right now. I am fortunately very aware. Yikes! Okay. We're gonna play the song. Okay. We're just going right into comp. Do. And then we're gonna keep this going. And oh wait, did we find a game yet? Dude, what time is it? I got time for like literally one game. Yo! Okay. Bro, please. Bro, please. I want to play. I want to play with the big leagues. Really? Yeah, oh my god. Please. Please. Oh my god. Oh, wait, I don't need to do that. I can just... I should not shoot these guys, right? Right? I have a lot going on right now, to be fair. Here, let me turn that off. Oh my god.
Obama's cat.
Which one was that? Found it. Okay. Dude, I cannot do this in stream. Like, actually, my Wi-Fi is killing itself right now. They're going long again. Or at least one's long. Oh, they might be going cat. Is anyone on B? They're going B. I think they're B. So we can rotate to tons. That's crazy. That's crazy. We almost got it though. Literally so close. Easy. One flash, two flash long. 3 flashes long. Did I hit? I hit one of them for... Do they have up? I'm gonna try and go behind. Wait, are they? I'm gonna try and go. I'm gonna try and go long. Did they go B?
Tunnels.
Dog, I need to not be streaming and playing this shit. This is actually ruining my ability to actually play this game. Dude, do I end the stream? I think I